So as we start going through and talking about four-man rotation, so what does it do? It takes away the crease. It does give up skip passes. Can be beaten by ball movement. The nice thing about it is that you can really go hard with it. You can rotate hard. You can put some pressure on if you got some good athletes. And you need to know the difference between diamond and box, particularly within a scope of a 3-3. And the terminology is spike. We talked about that a little bit last night. A spike, in Jerry Burns' terminology, is when you have to do something that's going to be out of character for what your defense is. So in the case of a four-man rotation, a spike situation is where your crease guy ends up having to go rotate to the ball. And why does that happen? Well, sometimes there's no crease and you have to do it. And sometimes there's nobody else to go. And if you run out of players, which sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Sometimes you just run out of players and all of a sudden, and that's really how a five-man rotation works, is that you're in a four-man rotation. And then that man who's guarding the crease is the closest to a rotation, so he makes it, and somebody else comes in and claims the responsibility of the crease. So let's take a look here at some of these four-man rotations. This is Notre Dame. They run a fair amount of four-man, and look at how they're pressuring passing lanes. And they're actually like getting out a little bit. And you also notice that Carolina is looking to fake passes, and that's going to be a big theme when you watch this. You're going to see this guy right here. He fakes and spins and tries to get rotations to go in the wrong direction. Notre Dame just does an awesome job. And it seems like impossible that you could guard this level of play with a four-man rotation, but they can, and they do, and they do it quite often. Here's an example of a four-man spike. So same game, they're running their four-man, and now all of a sudden, it's kind of banging around, roll off. You're going to see the crease guy as the ball gets up and around one more time. You're going to see that they start running out of players, and the crease guy rolls off, and now they're in a five-man. And that's, when we teach you how to do your five-man, that's going to be how we teach you how to do it too. And notice, the advantages of a five-man are that, it's easier to get in skip passing lanes because you got more people in it, more people like working on that. Okay. I've been talking a fair amount about this box diamond concept, and Carolina has a nice little play design here where they're in a 1-4-1. And first of all, these guys would be better off if they were in a diamond anyways against a 1-4-1. It's just an easier way to match up. So basically 35 would want to be up here. But let's check this out for a second and watch how they're in a 3-3 and Furman's in a box. And so now it's a really long rotation for this guy to get up there. And if they had recognized 3-3 and gotten themselves, into a diamond with this guy getting up the wing and being able to still try to get into a skip passing lane, but try to pre-rotate a little bit, if he was halfway there, he could have been there. Instead, they're trying to scrape back, and that could have been by design too. They might say, hey, we're going to try to chase the pass, but it's just not a great idea against a team that's good because, if 54 chases the pass, they can throw it right back, and now they're in trouble. So my advice is to try not to scrape too much, which means the scrape terminology is what this defender tries to do, which is get back. And just get into your diamond and then rotate. And I think it'll be a really effective way for you guys to play man-down defense. And don't forget the importance of making your defense practice that way against you. Okay, this is why I'm teaching you this. Whether you're an offensive coach or a defensive coach, you need to give yourself this look for sure. Right. Now, sometimes teams will shut off. You can see Carolina's shutting off Rambo right down there. And so what does Rambo do? He ends up going inside. And watch him now, and this is very common. There's a lot of sealing of rotations. You see him backing right into the guy, trying to get him off so that he's going to be late on a rotation. And when this happens and he rolls back off, now they're no longer locking him. So it was kind of like it was a defensive ploy that is it's not uncommon, but it's not an everyday thing. But it's where you begin, you either don't start in your shut off and you make them waste a little clock and then you shut somebody off, or sometimes you start with a shut off, make them change their formation, and then you can get right back into a 4-man rotation or a 5-man rotation. So that's what they did here. Syracuse is in what's known as a Syracuse. This is like Syracuse. If you watch Syracuse, this is what they do every single time on man up, pretty much. I mean, they have a couple of extra little looks, and we're going to go over that in a minute. But notice this rotation seal right here. Watch this guy back into it. See it? And Carolina is man down in overtime and saves the ball with his cup, and the rest would become history. That was a pretty good opportunity to score a goal and win it. So let's take a look at this. I think this is going to be the same scenario, same look. It's a 1-4-1 to a 3-3, and this time they were a little bit better in their diamond, but not that much better, are they, right? I mean, if you look at it, they're still in a box. And the reason why a goal gets scored here is because this guy is, if it was a diamond, he would be in the middle, and this guy would be on the wing. And the wing guys would have the skip pass responsibilities down low, but he's not. He's in a box. And so now he doesn't have time to get there. And because he's late, you've got a skip pass. And once the skip pass happens, one more and it's going to be a goal. All right. So just a little bit on that. And teams that don't, figure out how to play a really good diamond box are going to struggle. Now, I do want to make a point man up wise. So a lot of man ups will have this wing carry. Okay. But usually when they carry, this guy ends up being in the top left shooter spot. Okay. So you can imagine, like, the way a lot of people do it is they carry up, and the guy who was top center stays top center. This guy comes into the crease. This guy usually goes to the low left, and it gives you this 14-33 look, which is a very common look. It's a nice look. But the reason why I'm showing you this is because one of the reasons the play design of this 1-4-1 to a 3-3 is interesting. When I say I learned things, this is one of the things that I hadn't seen this. And it's pretty cool is that this guy who did the initial carry is getting himself to the top center. And usually this guy is going to be on the wing, and that might be what screwed them up and got them stuck in a box. Because you got to figure they're better coached than that. So I think actually this play design that we'll show you one last time here, in which the carry doesn't end up being in the lefty shooter spot, but rather he ends up in the top center, really overloads this in such a way that it puts some pressure on that Furman defense. And so I think that has something to do with it. So it's a pretty cool look, actually.